Now, we'll tell you something else if you want to hear it.
Yes, sure.
What is going to transpire beginning in 20 and 12? It's almost the opposite of what most people think. Do you recall the prophecy of the Bible where it says that there will be different world teachers emerge? There is the Christ. Here is the Christ. This is the one that's the world teacher. This is the new Christ. Have you heard those prophecies?
Yes,
And what's going to begin in 2012 is the emergence of several almost unbelievably fantastic world teachers. But they're actually in the way of the progress of humanity. They're really not as nice as their publicity makes them appear to be.
okay.
And you're going to see the arising of 4 or 5 very determined cults that are each going to be competing against each other to prove who is the Christ for the new age. And the prophecy in the Bible continues in saying, it's not until you understand and can see through and do not get harmed by these people that appear to be Christ-like, but actually they want to become the tyrants of the earth. And so we're telling you about this because if you do not come to believe you are nice, in the future you will get hooked into several of these worldwide cults to a teacher that will compliment you almost like a mother that you never had, and you will lose the ability to stop criticizing yourself. And it'll get worse, and you'll become more addicted to one of these teachers, and you'll have to go back over and over and over in order to feel better. And so you have one of the opportunities to challenge that hurt child in yourself. And if you don't start soon, you will become involved in larger movements that will actually lead to the destruction of human choice.
Yeah, there are.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, and there are, at the same time, these almost Christ-like, we're going to say gurus or teachers that have millions of devotees. At the same time that these are going to begin, there's going to be little Buddhas, they're called, little teachers, and they're going to preach, you must come to know yourself. And so you're going to have to begin making your choice. Are you going to follow a Christ, a glorious, big superstar teacher, or are you going to find a little person to help you understand yourself? And because there's going to be 2 different paths in the spiritual arena, and so this is, we wanted to inform you of this. So the death of your cat is reminding you that there is no one that can help you unless they teach you how to confront the delusion in your own thought. Do you understand?
Yes, yes.
You had a question.
Yes, because, lately, in the past, not lately, but I used to follow people, not anymore so much on YouTube.
The student goes into a long discourse, fairly long, about an internet group that she used to follow.
Are you talking about this group?
This is not going to be one of the 5 big teachers that are going to emerge starting in 2012. But this is a representative of what we're describing. Is, you see, there is not a individualized teaching that's directed right towards assisting you in overcoming these negative sorts of thought habits, correct? Yeah, there's discussion of this. There's discussion of these larger, broader ideas. But you see, the conscious mind actually distance itself from the direct personal application. Do you believe this?
Yes.
For the truth is that the more you have studied various schools of, meditation and things like this, you've actually grown worse in the area of criticizing yourself, correct? Yeah. Now you have refrained from getting involved in deep, ugly relationships with men, and this has made it better. Do you understand?
Yes.
But the source of these things inside yourself you have not yet found the place to really help you to understand totally and to overcome it. Correct?
It is, yes.
Yeah, and you see, we travel, each individual travels many levels of growth, healing, understanding, and that what you've done is you have halted you see, this deep fear that lives in your own soul. You've halted yourself from it damaging you much in terms of personal relationships. Correct?
Yes.
And so what you've been able to do is halt the mind-boggling dramas that would hurt you again. You've been able to stop that, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that has created a peace, a form of peace that's allowed you to understand and perhaps to begin to study deeper. Do you believe this to be true?
Well, sometimes I think, that until I don't compare myself, sometimes I feel, I understood. I understood more, but not every time I can focus with my emotions. So.
Correct. We'll try two other ways to sort of help you understand more completely what we're discussing. Is the simplest is that the ancient teachers that wrote the Vedas and that began yoga, okay, is they understood that every soul, when they come to earth, they have things deep inside themselves to overcome, okay? And that they devised a system that would slowly calm and strengthen the self, so when these deeper soul wounds, when it would when it was a time in a person's life for them to reveal themselves, that the student would actually be calm enough and have their body and their mind prepared and strong enough to withstand how difficult it can be to do the next form of healing, which is deeper and harder. Do you understand? Yeah. And there has been now, when this system hit the America has been addicted to outer appearances for since its beginning, okay? But it also has a long history of going right to the truth. And we're not trying to confuse you. What we're saying is that many people believe meditating or doing hatha yoga makes them a better person. And they might wear their white clothing and wear incense and wear the right perfume. But the inner being has not changed at all. Yeah. And so what we're saying is that some people need those outer appearances, and to practice a number of years, you entered into your practices with the understanding that you had troubles, correct? And this was the right motivation. You didn't enter in order to improve yourself. you entered in order to try to help yourself grow stronger.
Yeah.
And it worked. And now there's a deciding point over the next a year or so for you, is whether you've gained enough courage and strength to go into the next level where the inner deep sources of all of those problems can be understood, revealed, and then you become a simple little truth teller. And see, again, we're referring to in the United States, there's always a core of the truth, but a lot of times it's very confusing to see through the outer appearances.
Yes.
Yeah, and so that's the stage of your own personal spiritual struggle that you're ready for, is to actually go strong enough to see the deeper spiritual wounds of yourself and of other people, but to be very calm and very loving and very gentle and very wise in what you have to say about them. And the shocking thing is eventually there's going to be a lot of people of high awareness that are going to dethrone the larger gurus that want to lead everybody, okay?
Okay.
And again, this is what Jesus did. This is what Jesus taught. This is what Buddha. You've not really understood Buddha. You want to hear a couple? Buddha reacted against and discarded the yogic path to enlightenment. Buddha was a reformer of the worst of the abuses of Hindu yogic practices. He was the Christ, just as Jesus was the Messiah to the people of the Middle East. Christ is the Christ truth continues to confront the abuse of the churches. Do you agree? Well, Buddhism continues to confront the worst of the abuses. And there needs to become a clear understanding in your own mind whether you want to follow the path of Buddha and Jesus, or the path of the Catholic East Indian big gurus. Because you see, like Buddha and Jesus both spoke of, the truth is written in your heart. And no teacher can insert that truth. They can help you maybe come to discover it, but you don't worship the teacher. You don't bow to the feet of the teacher. And so again, you see, there's a lot of confusion in the world today. Buddha said, if you encounter someone that you think is God, you need to get away from them, because you'll give up too much of your own personal choice. Yeah, and so again, it's we're not trying to ask you to become a student of Dale or of us. There are other. You're ready to begin risking traveling the path of a more personal, individualized teacher, but one that actually knows how to relate, how to teach. And a lot of times these sort of teachers, they don't necessarily dress the prettiest or act the nicest. They tend to have very balanced sort of lives, where, and they have marriages and kids. And, see, again, you need a woman or a man teacher that has lived the kind of life that you yourself would like to have had. Do you understand?
Okay.
In other words, this mentor or teacher, if you find the right one, they have overcame the worst of their own cultural and family of origin difficulties, and they've helped their kids for the most part to go through these, even if it might have been interrupted by the culture or whatever. So but you're not seeking a parent, but someone that can help you. It's almost like a reparenting spiritual psychological, real world, real factual kind of spiritual growth.